Hey guys. Well, today I got a guest that emailed me a couple days ago. I spoke to him today. I actually wanted to do this show sometime next week, but I had a little time today. He squeezed me in his time. So this guy, he goes by the name of Gunslinger. He don't want to tell me his real name, which is fine. But he sent me a couple letters that Whitey Bulgar sent to him, and I read them. I mean, they're pretty cool, very interesting. And I figure let me interview this guy and see what he has to say. So he's going to give us some insight on Whitey Bulgar, who he was as an older man in a wheelchair, and the little stories that Whitey Bulgar shared with him. So I thought it would be pretty cool for him to come on. He's gonna come on in a couple minutes. And Whitey Bulger was a part of the Winter Hill Gang. He's one of the leaders. We know his background, a lot of bad stories about him. But I think in every bad guy, there's a little good. I mean, you guys might not agree with me, but I think there's good in everybody, just a little good. So that's gonna be interesting. And tomorrow we're gonna go live, all of us together, so you'll be able to chum in and speak your piece, what you have to say. What I did was I did something on John Gotti yesterday or the day before about how tough was John Gotti. Now let me clear this up because I'm getting a lot of messages about John Gotti. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. But look, John Gotti was a bona fide tough guy. Okay, 100%. Bona fide tough guy. The way he died, and a lot of these mafioso guys that were in the mob are gonna die in jail, grow old, and die. Whether they're gonna die in a hospital, die in prison, they never gave anybody up. But that's that life. So that's the life he lived. And he's a bona fide tough guy. I agree. But I don't agree with a lot of things he did. For the fact of that life is a treacherous life, and he broke all the rules. Every rule he broke. He broke the rule of killing a boss. He never touched base with the commission. That's one of them. He slept with other guys' wives. So you can't say he didn't. And he did a lot of things. He wasn't a perfect mafioso guy. So that's what I'm saying as far as, and he used Tommy Karate for Willie Boy. Now, me personally, when I look at that, I look at the family and I say that's a weak family because you had to go outside to another family. You have your own soldiers and associates. Now, if I'm an associate of the Gambino crime family, you know what? I want to take that hit. Give that hit to me because I'm an associate and I want to be a made guy in that family. Why would you give it to Tommy Karate, a made guy? For me, that's unheard of. And I think if anybody else was the boss of the Gambino family, someone inside the Gambino family would have took that hit. It would have been loaned out to Tommy Karate. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying anything bad about John Gotti, that he was a coward or anything. He wasn't a coward. He was a bona fide tough guy, 100%. He died in jail. He wasn't the greatest boss, 100%. Me personally, I don't think he should have had that spot, but you could agree with me. That's just how I feel. I think Frankie DeChico would have been a great boss, but we know the outcome of that. So this guy is going to join us soon. Let me just give a shout out to this guy. Just sent me 1999 to Anthony Camige, 1999. What's up? Thank you so much for the 1999. You really don't have to do that. I appreciate it. I'm not here for the money, just to let you know. And but I appreciate the kindness. That's for sure. Now, I wasn't gonna come on today. I'm usually coming on Sunday and I skip Saturday, but I figure I'd give you guys some entertainment, and I also want to talk about, look, if you talk about the mob today, the five families, the Jersey crew, in all honesty, the mob is boring. It's fucking boring. I don't care what anybody says, the mob is boring. You got to go back so many years to talk about the mob when it was really exciting as far as the character of men were different than the wise guys today. So that's all I wanted to say. But Gunslinger is going to join us soon. Once he joins us, I'll put him in the studio, and he has a lot to say. He's an interesting character. He told me a lot about Whitey Bulgar, a lot of stories, and I'm sure you'll be interested with them too. So I cleared that up. And tomorrow I will be going live at 4 p.m. So hopefully you guys join me. You could chop it up with me. I'll bring you into the studio. We could talk a little bit. And the Sunday lives are good because you can intertwine with me and we could have a little fun with it and stuff like that. Make another $50. Okay. Jay Barron, $50. Thank you. I appreciate it. What I'll do is that money goes to my children, just to let you know. Okay. I appreciate that. Very kind of you. Thank you very much. So Gunslinger will be joining us soon. Anthony Salerno, how are you? You ever meet Bobby Mann? Bobby Mann, one time with Andrew Reynolds. I met Bobby Mann. So, hey, Jimmy, I'm going to read a couple comments until this guy comes in. Hey, Jimmy Pino's or Steve's. Bet they're new people. Bruce, what's up, baby? Richie D, New York City. Live and Let Live. How are you? What's going on? Yo, mama. So I'm going to wait for this guy to come into the studio. Then I'll bring him on. I never met him before. I spoke to him earlier. We had emails back and forth. But he seems like an interesting character. And he has some, nice stories he's going to share with us about Whitey Bulgar. Now, as you know, Whitey Bulgar was a bad guy. We hear all bad stories about him. But what he did was he actually hid for so many years from the FBI. I mean, how did he do that? And he was also dealing with the FBI. So, this guy was undercover for over 30 years. I mean, that makes that pretty interesting. I mean, I'm sure he was an interesting guy. I know he was a fed guy in Boston and probably a scary guy. But I heard a lot of bad stories about him. One story was from Chucky Flynn when I was in Lewisburg with Chucky. And Chucky had nothing nice to say about Whitey Bulgar, But, Chucky was a serious guy, and I respected him, and I had a lot of fun with him. He was a health guy, very in good shape, and I have a lot of good memories with Chucky. So let's wait for Gunslinger to come in, and then we'll see what he has to say. How's everyone out there? Boston J, what's up, baby? How's everything? I hope everything's good with you and the family. Okay, he's coming in now. He's trying to get hooked up. Okay, here he is. Gunslinger, how are you? Gunslinger, do you hear me?
Right.
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah,
Can you?
Yeah, I hear you. Yes, you're connected.
All right. Me and you, we fighting with this technology stuff.
Yeah, how's everything?
It's bad. It's all right. The power went off. I don't know if the feds got anything to do with it. They don't like me talking about Whitey, so anything's possible.
Salerno, thank you for the $20. Appreciate it. So you know what?
Can you hear me?
Look,
yeah,
let's get into Whitey Bulgar. As I spoke to you before, you told me you spent some time with him in prison. So let's give the audience an idea of who you are.
Okay, first thing is first, when I'm on when I watch YouTube, I don't like people trying to debunk me and call me a liar. So here's this. We used to exchange letters when I got out. We were still good friends. So here's my proof. This is one of the letters, one of the last letters he sent me before he died. I think you guys can see his name. And that's his from Coleman, USP2. Now, Coleman is about a 30-minute drive north of Orlando on Interstate 75. It's like it was supposed to be the largest federal prison complex. Now, when I say complex, for those who don't know, it's basically it's not just one prison. It's actually multiple prisons. Some have two, some have three. There might be a low, a medium, a camp, or a pen. Coleman has 5 facilities. It has a female camp, a men's low, a men's medium, and 2 penitentiaries. Now, this is the thing. There's Pen 1 and Pen 2. Pen 1 is the bad boy camp. That's the Gladiator Academy. That's where if your paperwork is not good, if you informed or anything like that, your ex-cop, child molester, all that stuff, you don't want to go to Pen 1 because you might not last long. It's Pen 1. It's dangerous. Pen 2 now, because the modern federal system is designed that they can't just send everybody to one pen, child molesters and so forth, because they're going to get killed. So what they do now is they build 2 pens, one for the guys who are really dangerous and the one for the guys that can't go to Pen 1. So, but now let's get this straight. Everybody that goes to Pen 2 in Coleman, like myself, I never cooperated, never talked. It was a 3-man operation I did. The 2 guys ratted on me to go home. I did the time because that's just me. I'm old school. But I would say about out of 1,500 people, half of them, or maybe a little less, are straight up guys. They never talk. They are no rats. They're no cops, no child molesters. It's just that, hey, you got a short time, go here and relax and go home. Because that's when they get there, you got classifications. They tell you, look, hey, we know you straight. There are people. This is for people that can't go to Pen 1. So if you want to just be here and do your time, just chill, don't check paperwork, don't bother them. Fine, no problem with me. So that's understood. Now, let's start with 2011. I was locked up 2010. I'm a gun smuggler. I have no shame. I love guns. I'm a gun nut. No more. But back then, I'm ex-military. I love guns. So
it's good.
I got caught, did the whole court thing for a year. Now, this is 2011. I was at Coleman Medium at first because my points weren't really that bad. But within the first month or 2, I got into it with a correction officer. But before that, I never heard of Whitey Bulgar. I study a lot of the mafia, mob in New York families, maybe some Chicago, stuff like that. You know, I watched Goodfellas back in 1990 on bootleg VHS from New York. And that movie just mesmerized me. It explained what the mafia was. That's why, to me, it never gets old. I watch it every other day with some chicken Alfredo. I love the stuff. And some little wine. Okay. But from then on, I just started watching mob movies, Johnny Brasco, Casino, all the stuff, you know. And I read the books, The 5 Families. I'm a mob enthusiast. Let's just say that. So, was at Coleman, 2011, the medium. It's all in the news. Whitey Bulgar, America's most wanted after Osama bin Laden, all that stuff. Great. I was like, I never knew who Whitey Bulgar was. I never heard of him, honestly. I never told him that. I never did. But this big gangster in Boston, from Boston, was on the run. They caught him. Cool. Got into it with a correction officer, swinging on him, about the whole compound shut down to drag him to the shoe. I don't give a damn. I fight anybody. So I was in the shoe for a year. And what they did was they said, you know what, since you're such a gangster, we're going to send you to the pen. Okay, let's go to the pen. No problem. I thought I was going to Pen 1. I lucked out. Nah, you're going to Pen 2. Great. Went to Pen 2. Got into it with another correction officer. You know, try to stay out of trouble. You know, you try to do your time. I'm not a bad person. I just don't go for nothing. You know what I'm saying? So got into it with a guy, swinging on each other in the TV room. All right, went to the shoe. Went to shoe for about a year. In the shoe for a year with another guy, pretty much locked in the bathroom with a double bunk. So all of you people who don't understand what a shoe is, the hole, that's the hole. Yeah, I did it for 2 years straight. I done all that stuff. I'm set like that. I'm mentally built like that. Everybody can't do it. But while I'm in the shoe, everybody's just kind of, the gossip in the little shoe area. This, oh, Whitey Bulger's here. Whitey Bulger's here. I'm like, okay, cool. I didn't go, okay, whatever, cool. I finally got out. The same day I got out the shoe, maybe just before, just after, he got out the shoe as well. Because he just came from Arizona, the Arizona medium. He got into it over there. I'll explain to you why. Let me just make it short. Whitey is a ladies' man. He likes the. I think the poor ladies are already not working at the feds anymore, but it was basically a nurse or a social worker who used to lock the door while her and Whitey was in the room by themselves. So Whitey was a playboy like that. He was Hugh Hefner. And unfortunately, they got caught. I think she might have been fired. I don't know. But that's why they moved him from the Arizona penitentiary to the Coleman USP2. Now, the Arizona penitentiary and Coleman, there are certain places in the federal government, they call them safe havens. They are safe havens because people like Whitey or people who cooperated, ex-cops, I was in there with a bunch of ex-cops, whatever, they can't go to those, so they go to these safe havens. Coleman 2 is a safe haven, no problem. So I'm in the unit, and then, I don't really pay too much attention, but somebody said, hey, that's Whitey Bulger. And when I look, it's just an old Caucasian guy in a wheelchair. I don't care, okay. He's nothing special. I mean, in terms of, it's just he's an 80-something-year-old man. So, he's in a wheelchair, he's cool. I don't want to be no fanboy. So I was like, okay, that's Whitey Bulger, whatever. But what happened was I'm ex-military. And a lot of military veterans in federal prisons and jails, we tend to look out for each other. We kind of tend to hang out because we're vets. Black, white, purple, green, Asian, it don't matter. We're vets. So we tend to hang out.
By the way,
mm-hmm.
By the way, thank you for serving.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll show you a little history. During the Allied force, when they bombed Bosnia, the longest B-2 stealth bomber mission in history, that's me refueling the refueling plane to refuel those stealth bombers going to Bosnia. First days of Kosovo. Yeah, so I was there. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
But,
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, small world. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, bro. Yeah, we'll get into that other story later on. But so what happened was there was this another veteran. He was a Marine, older guy, 60s, whatever. Poor thing, came home. His wife was messing with another guy, and he snapped, got the gun, killed them both, and he's doing life. Sad. These things happen, but I guess he's accepted it, but my heart goes out to him. So we used to have book clubs. We like books and stuff, and basically Whitey had wanted to see my book about B-52s. I used to be a mechanic. I used to work on jet engines, the planes I just showed you, F-15s, F-16s. And here is the actual book that I had. It's about the B-52, the breakdown of the B-52, workshop, whatever. I used to get these. I can't read novels and all that BS. These are the only things I can read. That's just me. I love planes. I wanted to be a pilot, but things just went left. So the guy told me that Whitey wanted to see the book. Okay, no problem. I got the book, and then he took me over there, and he introduced me. He's like, hey, how you doing? How you doing? My name is Leon, whatever. Gunslinger. Yeah. And I know, I basically say, I know who you are, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we just start talking. Now, this is what hope people don't know is Whitey is a veteran. Whitey was in the Air Force. He joined the Air Force. He was born in 1930. So he probably joined the Air Force like about 1958. More like 1950. About 48, 49. He missed World War II. He didn't get to go to Korea. He always told me he wanted to go to Korea. Okay, whatever. But he was in the Air Force. He worked on the B-29, the piston engines, propellers. I worked on jet engines, So that's basically our same career fields. We're airplane engine mechanics. We were in the Air Force. And that's just how it kicked up. We love guns. He's a gun nut. I'm a gun nut. And that's just how it happened. We just started every day. We just started talking and out for hours, and so we were just hanging out the whole day, just me and Whitey. And that's just how it was. He used to tell his war stories. What happened was a lot of the Caucasian guys, in prison, everything's always segregated, somewhat not so bad at Coleman. Who's black, who's white, who's Mexican, who's this or that, I don't care. But he used to sit with those guys, for a little bit. And I assume they probably got tired of his war stories. Eventually, the whole Whitey Bulgar thing kind of plays out. So eventually, they kind of just used to duck him when he came because, oh, God, here goes war stories. I'm just assuming. So he just ended up just sit with me, talk with me almost every day for a whole year. So we could sit there, talk about guns. We talk about anything we can talk about, whatever. That's just how we sit there, watch TV. We used to watch TV. One of our favorite movie, me and him used to watch, was Public Enemies with Johnny Depp. He is a John Dillinger fanatic. He used to have the books. He even gave me the books to read. So we used to, he loved John Dillinger. He always loved John Dillinger growing up, all that stuff. So we would watch Public Enemies. When it came on TV, I get Whitey, his cell, he was in a wheelchair. He could have walked, but not too well. He's 80-something years old, so he was in a wheelchair. His cell was right there where we sat by the TV. So I could just go to, hey, Whitey, I used to call him Jim. I don't know if you were really cool with Whitey in prison, you didn't call him Whitey. You just called, hey, Jim or Jimmy. Hey, Jim, hey, Public Enemies on. Okay, he'll just get on, he'll come. We watch Public Enemies. We watch Goodfellas. About 25% into the movie, he basically said, I can't watch it no more because he couldn't stand Henry Hill. Like, okay, man, just a movie. But we watched Goodfellas, Casino, Donnie Brasco. He's a mob dude. We watch stuff. We're mob guys. He's more of an Irish gangster, but, he dealt with a lot of the Italians. Like, a lot of people don't really know the story. Now, if you watch the movie, and he used to invite me to his cell, and we would talk for hours. He used to show me pictures, and he would actually show me pictures of him sitting, like the FBI would take. You would see some on the movie, or if you go on the internet, you would see him taking pictures with people leaning up against car in his garage and stuff. He used to talk with the Patriota family in Boston. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correct. Like Jerry and Julo. It was like a Cold War. It's like basically I'm your secret enemy. So it's like, so that's why I say everybody's keep calling him a rat. What happened was the Italian mafia up there in Boston, they had crooked cops. If you look at the movie, you see how they're driving and a cop stops them. He's like, hey, I got a warning from Jerry Angiulo. All that stuff happened. The Italians had crooked cops. Whitey just had one better. I got a crooked FBI agent. So that's what it was. Crooked cops, crooked FBI agent. So
and it makes sense.
Doing the same thing. So that's kind of hypocritical. Yeah. Why call him a rat? If now that's how he explained it to me, and I agree with it because I watched the movie when I got out of jail. I think the movie was advertising while I was in there with him, and the fame. We used to sit down and watch his own documentaries. I used to sit with Whitey and watch his own documentaries, and Whitey used to be like, I should have killed that guy. Yeah, plain out. He's like, the guy would be on there telling, oh, Whitey did this, Whitey did that, and Whitey would get upset. I actually used to share my headphones with him. I had a little adapter with my radio because he didn't buy a radio. He didn't have an MP3 player. So we would share radios. I think he even had an extra radio. Let him watch it because you have to have a radio with headphones to watch TV in the feds, so it keeps it quiet. So we would watch his documentaries, and can you imagine an entire unit with 200 plus inmates sitting down in front, and me and Whitey, we always sat to the wall. We were sat to the back. It was me, Whitey, and a bunch of his little followers at times. I'm the only chocolate-covered guy with him, sitting right next to him by the wheelchair, watching his movies and watching his documentaries. And, people would just look back at me and they would look back and you're watching the documentary and the dude's right there watching the documentary with you. That's kind of funny. And then you see, it had the unit manager. She was from New York too. She Italian chick. We used to sit there, chop it up with her, sweet talker, me, Whitey, and a little crew. And one time she's passing by watching the documentary, and she's looking at me like, like, why am I sitting next to this guy? It's like, okay, what's the difference? It's like, okay, it's Whitey Bulgar, whoop-de-doo. It don't matter. So that's just how it was. So that was kind of funny to just be sitting there watching it, look at everybody, black, white, purple, green, just looking back at you like, how are you friends with this big notorious gangster? We're all gangsters, are we not? It don't matter. We're in here. I mean, he's retired.
You're right.
At that time, he was retired.
You're right about that.
All that gangster stuff. He's retired. Yeah, so he's just a retiree in a wheelchair, chilling in a retirement home with good war stories. It was entertaining, I learned a lot. First, it was kind of rough because he would tell you everything. How he murdered a guy. A lot of very descriptive. At first, it was kind of like, oh, and he's not making it up. He would tell you details of how blood drips down from someone's head when there's a hole in it. Stuff like that. He would, and like how you drive. He would tell me things like drive around with a towel in your car. See, if you ever shoot somebody and the blood splatters on the windshield, you just take the towel and wipe it off. And at first, me, I'm just a guy. I actually even want to be a cop. I want to join the police department, but I made a lot of mistakes in life. But I was a good guy that kind of fell down the rabbit hole. So at first it kind of might have make you feel a little uneasy, but eventually just got used to it. Okay, just got used to it. Okay, that's just how it was. He didn't care. He would tell you how he killed the guys, how he did this, how he did that. I can't judge him. It's just what it is. He's a gangster. This is what it is. Can't judge him. So, so that's how it was. There's a lot of funny stuff. He was a good guy, man. I mean, I kind of, that's why it's almost like sitting next to Sammy the Bull, but with a Boston accent. That's why I watch Sammy the Bull a lot, because he was a plethora of criminal information. I mean, he was a mastermind of crime.
Yeah, I'm sure Whitey,
everything you can think of.
I'm sure Whitey Bulgar was a very interesting guy. In the 1950s, back in his day when he was younger, he did time in Alcatraz. I mean, he's one of the guys that actually did time in Alcatraz. I mean, not many people can say, they were in Alcatraz, and that was a serious joint, Alcatraz, But
yeah,
what can you say about him?
He told me the stories of Alcatraz. Yeah.
What did he say about Alcatraz?
Well, when he was there, he told me, we sat there for a year talking. When he was at Alcatraz, he tell me how he met Bumpy Johnson, and if anybody knows who Bumpy Johnson was, he was like the African American head guy in Harlem, New York at the time, was with the Italians. The whole Frank Lucas thing. Well, Bumpy Johnson, he was there with Bumpy Johnson. He was young at the time, but I mean, Whitey was younger with older Bumpy Johnson. He said he talked with him. He was there with it was part of the whole thing in the 1935 with Johnny Depp playing Lord, what's his name? Okay, not Elliot Ness. I'm talking about the guy who was Corpus, Alvin Corpus. Alvin Corpus, who was with the whole Dillinger gang and all of that stuff. He was there. He used to sit there, talk with Alvin Koppers, and he told me how J. Edgar Hoover was scared to come out the car to arrest him. He had to be arrested by other officers, and then when the other officer said it's safe, yeah, go ahead.
Are you talking about Dutch Schultz?
I'm talking about Alvin Corpus. Alvin Corpus from that whole... No, I'm talking about Alvin Corpus. Alvin Corpus was at Alcatraz. There was part of that whole Dillinger gang going on in the 34, 35. Alvin Corpus, he was part of Dillinger, Babyface Nelson, Pretty Boy Floyd. Corpus was part of that crew, part of that association. Alvin Corpus, if anybody knows, Well, he was at Alcatraz. Whitey was younger. Alvin Koppers was older, and he told me how, he was telling me stories how J. Edgar Hoover was the big guy in the FBI at the time. He was scared to arrest Alvin Corpus. He told me that Alvin Corpus told him the other agents had to arrest him, all the guns all over the place, and they had to tell J. Edgar Hoover, hey, he's arrested, he's safe. Then J. Edgar Hoover got out the car and then start taking the pictures like he's arresting Alvin Corpus. Whitey told me that's not how it happened. J. Edgar Hoover was terrified of Alvin Corpus, Babyface Nelson, Pretty Boy Floyd, Dillinger, all that stuff. He was not a field agent like that. He was an administrator. If you guys ever watched the movie, yeah, it's true. So, he said he actually even assisted. There was like about 3 or 4 people escape from Alcatraz. That movie, that was a real scenario. People, they made a raft, went up in the ceiling, about 62 or so. I think Whitey told me that they kind of had a little group of people, and he somewhat assisted them in certain things, getting forks to make knives and tools to dig through the ceiling. So Whitey was part of that too when they escaped. Stuff like that, Basically, and he did that whole LSD trip thing, LKM trip. He was telling me about that to get more time off. They said, hey, we offer you, hey, you take these drugs, they're experimenting in these LSD drugs on the inmate, and it'll give you time off. So that's what he did it for. He did it for time off. So that's what it is. And it used to affect him, even in his older age, he told me. Nobody wanted to sell with Whitey because Whitey would have nightmares at night, and he would holler and scream. He told me he murdered. They were basically waiting for him on the other side, and they got him. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of guys didn't want to be in the cell with Whitey because he would wake up 2, 3 in the morning hollering and screaming. And a lot of dudes couldn't stand it, so eventually he just celled by himself. But that's what it is. Yeah, he was haunted by his victims. So that's something to think about when people do all this killing. They visit you at the night. So that's what he told me.
Now look, we heard a lot of bad stories about Whitey Bulgar. Now as a person, you were in his company.
Right.
How was he as a person? Was he a good person? Did you see any good inside him?
Right. He was a good dude. I'm going to tell you this. I'll go this far. When you're in prison, you kind of think things to keep your mind occupied. We used to sit there sometimes on a rec yard or in unit, and we used to plan escapes. Even though I was going home in a year, but he was such a cool dude, I actually wanted to break him out. Like at Coleman, there's no wires. They actually call Vento wires because I was there with the guy who they put him in for. His name is, I don't know if I want to call him, he was part of the Philly mob, Steve Vento, who was warring with little Nicky Scarfo. And him and his father was warring with Nicky Scarfo. Scarfo put a hit on him, shot him in the head. A hitman shot him in the head 5 times. I'm like, how are you talking to me when you got a bullet in your head 5 times? Stuff like that. But he tried to break out his father out of the penitentiary, I think it was Lewisburg in Philadelphia in about 1986 with a helicopter. But the thing is, it was a setup with the FBI. The helicopter pilots were FBI agents. So he flew over the prison, and you can look all this up on the internet, on Wikipedia, it's true. Because I looked it up. He flew over the helicopter with his father, with him in it, and his father's on the rec yard waiting for them to pick up, and they wouldn't land the helicopter. That's what he told me, because there were FBI agents that arrested him in the helicopter, and then boom, got locked up. So I was there. They was actually at Miami FTC, but I was there with the guy they made those wires for. But anyways, I was saying, you know what? There's a single gun tower in the middle of the rec yard. I'm a military tactician. I'm a general. You know what I mean? I talk with colonels and generals. There's a very famous general who knows me. I was an enlisted guy, little guy, but I'm cut like that. Special forces wanted to recruit me. I'm a think tank. I even do it today. I design weapons. I design jets, tanks, boats, submarines. guns. But no, I don't do that anymore. But I'm a military think tank. I've been this way since a child. But the military couldn't handle me, so they had to get rid of me. I'm too dangerous, right? Because you can't control me. Okay, no problem.
Let me ask you a question. Did Whitey Bulgar say anything about the IRA with the gun running?
Yeah, man, of course. We're both gun runners. I'm a gun runner too. I smuggle guns. His shipments were bigger than mine, though. And that one you saw in the movie, that in the news, that was not the only one. That's just the one that got caught. There was other gun shipments. And the good thing you mentioned that. He told me he stopped sending guns and weapons to the IRA because he was tired of seeing the British soldiers get blown up and killed. He saw too much of it in the news, so he stopped. That's what he told me. It was just too much blood, too much bloodshed, blowing people up, killing people. So he stopped sending them guns and weapons. But that one in 84 with McIntyre, that was not the only one. That's just the one. He had AKs, M16s. He used to tell me how much more guns he had more than me. Cool. All right, no problem. You win. All right. But, yeah. Any more questions? Anything?
Well, how about... I want to know, at the time when he was there, he was in his 80s. Now, you know, he was a bad boy in his younger day. Now, 80 years old, you know, in his 80s, of course you slow down. How was he doing prison time? Was he depressed? You know, was he a talkable guy? Did he speak a lot?
He was cool. He was cool with any and everybody, black, white, purple, green, even the correction officers. The captain used up and told him, hey, I watched the movie. It was a good movie. Everybody, he was like a celebrity. He was cool. I mean, he accepted it. He's 80-something years old. It's cool. This guy used to be in his cell and you working out in his cell, trying to do pull-ups and push-ups. You're 80-something years old. I used to tell him, man, you need to kind of cool out, man. You know, like he was a boxer. He used to still. You could tell he was a fist guy. He used to, you know, he still used to do it, but I used to try to tell him, man, chill out. Nobody bothered Whitey in jail. Nobody, you know, he had his Caucasian crew. They looked out for him. Nobody was not going to touch Whitey. Because, as you know, in prison, you don't touch older dudes. You don't harass older dudes because everybody's going to jump on you. That's disrespect. You know what I mean? If you want to fight somebody, we'll find somebody for you to fight. So nobody bothered Whitey. He was cool. Like I said, he was cool at Coleman. He was sent to Hazleton on purpose to be murdered. That's it. And I will tell you how that whole thing happened when you are ready for me to. Mm-hmm. So I will tell you, I know the whole story because even though I had left prison, I still had guys I used to talk to on the phone with, and they told me what happened. You know, I tried to get Whitey to use the phone too and call me. That's why we had to write letters, but you know.
So you know what? Let's get into that story. What did you hear about when they murdered Whitey Bulgar?
This is what happened, not what I heard. This is what happened. Now, Whitey's 80-something years old. He's an old man. He has his grumpy old man days. Sometimes when he's in a grumpy mood, I just stay away from him or whatever. He's a grumpy dude. He's an older guy. You got grumpy old man days. So what happened was, this was early January 2018. He was murdered in October, so this was January 2018. What I was told was he went to the nurse. Now, Whitey's an old guy. He's got issues. He had like a issue with his legs that he used to put cream on and certain creams and areas and stuff. He's an older guy. And he used to go do his checkups. Now, what I heard was, it probably was a female nurse, because they're all male nurses, but I believe it was a female nurse. He went to the infirmary for a checkup or whatever it was. Him and the nurse got into it. I don't know if he was trying to get slick with her, because that's how Whitey does, or whatever, but something happened where he told the nurse, this is the words I was told, "Bitch, don't you know who I am? I can have you killed." That's what he said. "Bitch, don't you know who I am? I can have you killed." And that was the beginning of the end for Whitey. From there, they took him straight to the SHU. which is the whole, and let's say January to October, that's like about what? 8 nights. More than likely, they were trying to break him, and Whitey's not going to break. He's an old guy. He accepted what he was. There was a no-good POS ex-Marine jarhead captain who used to lie on me and used to punch me in cuffs and all kind of stuff. He's racist. I'm pretty sure he has something to do with it. And I'll even call his name. His name is, he was a lieutenant then, but he's a captain now. His name is Captain Perkins. Captain Perkins. At Coleman, he probably moved on now, but he was at Coleman. I believe he had something to do with it. In fact, one of the people who I talked to told me he had something to do with it. And then there was a unit manager. He wasn't a bad guy. He treated me fair. He respected me. I respected him. So I don't feel like calling his name, but he was a crafty fellow. For anybody who knows, his name sounds very similar to crafty. Let's put it that way. Now, it was not necessary. Why would you want to kill him? I mean, they sent him to Hazleton to get killed. Why? Because if you wanted to teach him a lesson, there's Coleman Pen 1 right next door. You don't got to pay for no jet fuel. You can drive him with a little van like they did me to the penitentiary right next door. But they didn't do that. Why? Because it's mostly African-American gangsters, and they're not going to bother Whitey. So they sent it somewhere where there's some Italian gangsters who would do that. And that's why they sent him to Hazleton. If they wanted to just send him to a pen, they just send you right next door to Pen 1. Just like I was at the Medium, I swing on cops. They sent me to Pen 2. Hey, you keep it up, you're going to Pen 1, Swan. No problem. So it was done on purpose. Simple. That's simple.
Very interesting.
Might have went higher up, the warden, all of them, but they didn't have to do that, though. He's an old man. He doesn't have any crew. He didn't have nobody. So to say like, hey, it's like an old man in a retirement home in a wheelchair. Oh, you keep this up, I'm going to have my son beat you up in a parking lot. He has nobody. You just laugh at him, roll him to his room, and close the door. That's all you do. He had no crew. So to take that as an excuse to murder him, I'm pretty sure it was a consistent back and forth going on with higher ups in the hole, and that was the final thing they did on purpose to have him killed. So basically, but the judge didn't give him a death sentence. So why do you think you should? You feel me?
Yeah, I think they
I was kind of very upset or hurt. Hazleton, West Virginia. They did it on purpose. There's no dispute. It was done on purpose for him to be killed.
Yeah, me personally, I think they wanted Whitey Bulgar dead, so they sent him to a prison where he would get killed. You know, they wanted to silence him. You know, I don't know if he was going to, give information after he got caught. I really don't know anything about it, but I'm sure he had a lot of names he could have hurt.
I don't even think so. I sat there with him, heard all the stories. Actually, I was trying to get him to, he was actually telling me one time he wanted to write a letter because the FBI agent that was the head guy was John Connolly. I think he got out for humanitarian because he's got cancer. But he told me back then, like he wanted to write a letter to the federal government to tell them that Connolly didn't have nothing to do with the murders. He didn't know that dude Callahan was going to get murdered in Tula, Arizona. He didn't know these people were going to get murdered. So, and the dude in Miami, I forgot his name, but and I was trying to encourage him to do that because this guy got kids. Let him out. I mean, if you can write a letter to get this guy out, do it. So I was trying to encourage him to do that.
And the thing is, you know what? What was he, 89 years old?
He was like, he died at 89. At that time, I knew him as 86, 87 years old. So, you're going to die in jail, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, 89 years old, in all honesty, it don't take much to kill an 89-year-old. Just walk up to him, you stab him a few times, and he's done.
Yeah.
So I really don't know much of the story.
I have no respect for those guys that did that.
Yeah.
It was at least 2 or 3 of them. They went in there as soon as the doors popped. You've been to prison. You've been to the feds. The doors popped. The CEO go in his office. They ran in there and they did what he did. Uh,
You know,
I was I was really hurt because I considered him a friend.
you know what it
Go
is,
ahead.
but in the course of life, you reap what you sow.
What's that?
And people
Uh-huh.
remember him, Whitey Bulgar, as a bad guy.
Yes.
And when he got to Hazleton, people only
Yes.
saw the Whitey Bulgar that they remember. They don't know the Whitey Bulgar that you were hanging out with, you know, because Whitey Bulgar has a bad past to him,
Yeah.
and they just wanted to kill him.
Yeah. That's it. It's just for the name. The guy who killed him, the head guy, more than likely, he's got a life sentence. He's never going home, so it don't matter to them. They don't care. But the thing is, Whitey was so cool. I could have hang with Whitey out here. Like I live in the islands in the Caribbean. I told Whitey, you should have came down here because all you had to do was stay away from Caucasian people. Because black people don't know you. Nobody don't care. They'd have never find you down here. You know, he'd have been just chilling. He said, oh, I didn't move to the islands because there's no escape. It's an island, you're surrounded by water. And he wanted to be able to drive away. Yeah, but still there's speedboats. You can still speedboat to other islands. You get a sailboat. I mean, nobody would have knew who you was. I told him that. But hey, like I was at the beach the other day, at the bar by the beach, drinking pina coladas and rum. That's what I do. And I met a guy at the bar from Boston. You know, we got people from all over the world coming here, and they're like, yeah. I say, hey, do you know of Whitey Bulgar? I say, yeah. Yes, I used to hang with him in jail. Like, really? Yeah. Yeah. So only he'd have to be careful of people like that, and they probably wouldn't even have recognized them. Honestly, you wouldn't
Yes.
know Whitey Bulger unless somebody told you. He just looks like a regular old retiree, man. You wouldn't know. Yeah, he's an old retiree in a wheelchair. Got his
Did
little
he
sit back like this, with his mop. He's had those like, yeah. Go ahead.
when you were with him, did anyone come visit him?
Yeah. Guess what? Good thing you said that. Uh, let's say Johnny Depp wanted to visit him for the movie, making that movie Black Man. Johnny Depp down here.
All right, we lost his mute. Yeah, I can't hear you, Gunslinger. Gunslinger, I can't hear you. I will obviously Gunslinger. You can't hear me. Can you guys hear me? Say you can hear me. No sound. Can you hear me? Hmm. How about now, guys? Can you hear me? Okay, you can hear me. All right, thank you. All right, so obviously, his mic, he might have pressed mute or something. I'm not sure. But look, Whitey Bulger, since you're gonna hear me and you can't hear him, Whitey Bulger, as we know, he was a bad guy. You know, I don't have too many good things to say about him. You know, I heard a lot of bad things about him, but you know, I'm sure there had to be something good at the end of his life when he was an old man. You know, he was a bad guy, I know. But you talk about, I see a lot of people commenting about Pat Nee. You know, I spent some time with Pat Nee. I also spent some time with Kevin Weeks too, so I know Kevin Weeks. I'm gonna try to get an interview with Kevin Weeks. You, I can't hear. You. Yours. So I'm gonna try to get an interview with Kevin Weeks, and that'd be cool. Pazzo, can you hear me? Okay. They can hear me, but they can't hear him. Gunslinger. Gunslinger, you hear me? Come back in. Okay. Well, Gunslinger, okay, he's gone. Well, I wanted to give this interview to Gunslinger because he spent time with Whitey Bulgar, and I figure I'd give you some entertainment tonight. Now, I'm going to ask Gunslinger to come back in, so just give me a minute. But I also wanted to talk about, I did a video yesterday about how tough was John Gotti, and I got a lot of comments from it. Now, I want to say it again. John Gotti was a bona fide tough guy. I think he was a tough guy. I think he was a gangster, 100%. You can't take that away. But I don't think he was what everyone thinks he was. Let me send this guy another link. I mean, I think John Gotti broke all the rules, killing a boss without permission. He did a lot of things, and the rules are only for the guys on the bottom. There ain't no rules for the guys on top. Kevin Weeks, I'm trying to get Kevin Weeks to give me an interview. Hopefully, he'll come in and we could do an interview with him. So what I'm going to do is, you know what? I'm going to change this up. So we heard from Gunslinger. Since I'm doing this today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link in the chat room. Some of you can come on and talk about Whitey Bulgar, what you know about him. If anyone's from Boston, our Gunslinger is back. Okay. His device, let me see. Okay. I think you're better now, Gunslinger. Yeah, we didn't hear you for a while.
Yeah, don't be surprised if we ever get cut off, because the feds don't like me talking about them. Okay, for real.
Yeah,
I'm on
right.
YouTube. If I talk about them on YouTube, they delete my chats. They delete stuff. They don't like me talking about them, for real. So I have to be well prepared later on tonight before nobody comes around.
Yeah, so let me
Sad, but true.
Any of you guys want to ask Gunslinger a question? Any questions out there? We'll give Gunslinger some questions. I mean,
any questions? Ask me anything.
Anybody got questions for Gunslinger? Okay. Yeah, we missed the last 5 minutes of what you were saying because you were muted, Gunslinger. Was Johnny Depp able to visit Whitey Bulgar? Do you hear me?
Yeah, you can hear me.
Yeah. Was Johnny Depp able to visit Whitey Bulgar?
Okay, I didn't hear your question. Go ahead. You just kicked in.
Now when you went out to
Go
the
ahead, ask
Capitol?
your question again. Go ahead, ask your question again, Jimmy.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you this question. Now, when you were doing time with Whitey Bulgar, right? When you guys went to go eat, how did you guys eat? Who did he sit at the table with? Did people know that he was a cooperator, that he ratted? Was anybody didn't like him?
Number one, like I told you, at Coleman Pen 2 is a safe haven. Half the people there are rats or informants. So how rat call another guy a rat? There's only a few people like myself who never told her nothing. And they tell us, look, this place is for cooperators. If you a couple of times I've had to deal with dudes and slap them, they want to slap me, and I tell them because they are known cooperators, and we got into fights. That's actually how the first time I got into the shoe when Whitey came, and that's when the captain was assaulting me because this captain was a lieutenant now, was a captain. He liked the cooperators because that's how they know everything going on in the prison. You got street rats and you got the penitentiary rats. He loved the jail rat, so it was a jail rat I called out. So it's a rat infested place. So Whitey got on just fine. Whitey sat at the Caucasian table, you know what I mean, with the other guys. Everybody respected Whitey. Black, white, purple, green. Nobody dissed Whitey. Only one of the correction officers trying to get a name for themselves. Well, everybody respected Whitey. He's a celebrity. Nobody bothered Whitey at Coleman Pen 2. He was supposed to stay there. That was where he could have lived out at least another 5-10 years of his life. They sent him there for a reason. But then they sent him to Hazleton for a reason, to be killed. Nobody bothered Whitey at Coleman. He was a celebrity. Everybody liked Whitey. Whitey used to give people soups, candy. I used to buy pizzas, and we used to share pizzas. We make pizzas in there. You know, you get the sausage, the cheese, some ketchup. You know, we used to make bread pizzas and stuff. We had this ex-cop guy killing people for the cartel in L.A. He used to make pizzas and stuff. Jack, I'm going to call his name, but I don't know his last name. And I used to buy pizzas, and hey, Whitey, we used to share pizzas. I used to be there with Italian dudes, too. I used to sit there with Russian mafia, Italian mafia. Whitey actually christened me. I'm an honorary Irish gangster. Okay?
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
It's fun.
I tell him I drink my Baileys. I like Baileys, Irish cream.
I tell you, it's funny because you talk about pizza, that the guys in the kitchen are selling pizzas. And I remember that. I remember the guys in the kitchen making pizzas and selling pieces to the other inmates. So I know that. But let me ask you something. How much time did you spend with Whitey?
Yeah. I'm assuming you asked me how much time did I do, right?
No,
I
how
did
much time?
6 years, 1 month. You're going in and out. So go ahead.
How much time did you spend with Whitey?
A whole year. A whole year before I was released from prison. So we sat there and kicked it with Whitey. I kicked it with Whitey for a whole year. I was released from prison February 22nd, 2016.
So, you know, when he went to Hazleton, the first day he was there, he was murdered.
It was a Federal Bureau of Corrections hit, man. It was a hit. It's that simple. They sent him there to be killed. It's that simple, man. And they're gonna shut us off, honestly. I'm surprised they ain't shut us off yet, because they don't like this stuff getting out.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, Gunslinger. You know what? Listen, thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. And thank you for sharing that with us.
Right. Anytime you want to do this again, get some more information. Anybody got any more questions later down the road, just give me a call.
Okay, definitely. Listen. Hey, thank you and have a good night. Thank you.
All right,
brother.
man. You take it easy.
Thank you. All right, guys. Well, Gunslinger wanted to come in, share that with us. So I want to give him the opportunity to come in. And, he seemed like a nice guy. I do believe that he spent time with Whitey Bulgar. He said he spent a year with him. And it all adds up to me. Because he was in Coleman for a minute there, for a little while, until he went to Hazleton. Then he got shipped to Hazleton and they killed him. Now, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make you interact with me. Okay, let's go like this. Copy. Paste. Okay, guys, I dropped the link. If you want, come on. We'll chop it up for a minute. I really wasn't going to come on today. He contacted me, Gunslinger, and I figured, let me give you some entertainment today. So hit the link, and you could come on. We'll chop it up for a little while. The link is in the chat room. All you got to do is hit the link, you come on, and we could talk. Should have ex-Gunslinger. Should have ex-Gunslinger what 3 + 4 is. Nah, I'm not looking to insult people. Michael Testa. I think Chin would have killed Gotti. I think Chin would have killed anybody. I think Chin was a beast. Okay, we got someone over here. Joey D, thank you for the $50. Good show, Jimmy. God first always. That's what my mother used to tell me, God first. But very true. Thank you for the 50. Appreciate it. Let's see what okay, let me see this guy.
Yo, Jimmy. What's up, baby? What's going on?
How's everything?
Good, man. Good. Just want to call and let you know, man, I'm from Chicago, and we love you out here, dude. You got a good story. You got a good story. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Look, I appreciate that. I appreciate the kind words. What part of Chicago you from?
I live about 15 minutes out in the suburbs. You know what I mean? I'm about 15 minutes away in Glenview.
Are you there all your life?
Yeah. I'm 45, born and raised out here.
How is it out there? I was in Chicago twice. I heard it's a tough city.
It's good. That's all you hear. You hear all the fucking Chicago, murders, killing. Man, that shit just happened on the west side and the south side of Chicago. You know what I mean? I've been living here all my life. The only time I go around that shit is if you go in those neighborhoods. You ain't gonna really see that shit anywhere else. You know what I mean? Just like in New York, I'm sure. The hood's the hood. They got it everywhere. These motherfuckers out here are just crazy as hell. They, all these fucking shooters are they're young kids. You know what I mean? 16 to 21. They're the
Yep.
ones that are fucking doing all the killing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
All the older guys are more laid back.
Yeah, they're more laid back. And the thing is, these young kids, they ain't got no fucking respect like we did back in the day. You know, back in the day, there was order to everything. You know, there was a pecking order. These young motherfuckers, they don't care who you are, who you've been, nothing. They'll pull, you know, two bad words and they'll pull a gun out and shoot you. You know what I mean? They won't even try to throw hands. You know what I mean?
And you know what? That's the thing. Back in the day when we were growing up, we learned about respect. You know, if you don't respect somebody, you get cracked in the mouth, you caught a little beating. Now today, these kids, they have no respect whatsoever. You know, they know nothing about respect. And the biggest thing for me growing up as a kid was loyalty. Being loyal to your friend, your family, someone that was close to you. There ain't no loyalty no more. Even the older guys, even with that mob shit, you know what? There's no loyalty in that shit. You know? I mean,
You know, I agree with you 100%. And that's something that that's something you should learn when you're growing up. Your parents, if they don't teach you anything, they should teach you respect. And most people have it. You learn that in the house. You know what I mean? I grew up, I'm a Greek guy, you know, got a lot of, you know, a big family, a lot of first cousins, a lot of friends, a lot of Greek friends. But respect is, you don't have to be a gangster to have respect. Respect is something you should have, you should carry around with you, whether you're at work, you're at home. It should be part of your everyday routine. You know what I mean?
absolutely, I
But
agree. And
the young fuck.
and the most important thing, you know, was loyalty. Being loyal to, you know, your people, whoever you were hanging out with, whoever your friend was. And you know what? There ain't no loyalty either. You know, everyone's out for themselves today.
Oh yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. Hey, listen, these days, you know, if you want to talk about like crimes and shit, you gotta be a dummy to try to think you're gonna to even try to be a thief. I mean, there's so many cameras, even game bangers. I mean, it's so hard to do anything. You can't go anywhere without 1,000 videotapes, 1,000 people with cameras in their hands. I mean, you can't get away with crimes like you could in the 80s and 90s. You know, when we were growing up, it was a whole different story. They didn't have a fucking camera on every other block in every business, you know? Nowadays, to fucking try to pursue the life of crime, you got to be an idiot. And you're not going to last out here. You know what I mean? You might get a year or two. You're going to get a year or two run, then you're going to get pinched, you know?
Absolutely.
If you're lucky, a year or two, you know? If you're actually living that life, you know?
Yeah. Well, anything else? Anything else going on? How's the weather?
Oh, that's it. It's cold today. Today's not bad. It's about 30, about 36. It says, but so far it's been good. We haven't had no snow. It's been all right for Chicago because usually by now it's cold than a motherfucker out here.
Well, listen. Hey, thanks for watching the channel. Thanks for subscribing. I appreciate it. And like I said, I'm gonna be going live tomorrow. So if you want, come back in tomorrow.
All right, Jimmy. Be care. Take care, baby. I love you.
And look, love you. I appreciate the kindness, man.
You got it, baby.
Thank you, man.
Peace.
Bye-bye. Big Lou.
Hey, Jimmy, what's going on, my man?
How's everything?
I enjoyed that little story. What's his name? Gunslinger was saying. Not bad, pretty good. It's good when you hear a little different flavor, different taste and spin on things,
You know what it is? He contacted me.
Yeah.
He, sent me an email, and he told me a lot about Whitey Bulgar when I got on the phone with him. And I said, you know what? Let me give them a little entertainment today. Come on today, and let me see what you got to say. But you know what? You meet people in prison, and you get to know a different way about them than the street. Because when you're in prison, you're more humble. When you're in the street, you're more you of, you know what? You're running the street. You got your little game going on. Now you're in prison and you're looking to make a friend,
Yeah. Well, so that's federal prison. So I can see that. But I also agree because even in the state prison where everything's mapped out, you already know before you get there who your allies are, who your adversaries are. And so a lot of times you're only allowed to. So I'm from Northern California. So obviously our adversaries are guys from Southern California, Latinos from Southern California, also Caucasians, right? So a lot of times you're only allowed to maybe say, you can't really get into a full-fledged conversation with them. There definitely is no contact. You really can't touch them, like as far as shaking their hand, stuff like that. And even if you grew up with the guy and he's happens to be a Caucasian, you can't really. There's only so far your friendship can go, the communication can go. You can't share food with each other that's open food. So say like I make something and I try to give him some, there might be a way he can sneak it on the unders and eat it, but if it's found out, he's gonna get in trouble, right? Excuse me. So I said that to say this is that sometimes depending what level facility you're in, sometimes you're on a low level facility, you can get away with that stuff a lot more. But if you're on like a level 3 or level 4, you're not going to be doing that. But the times it does happen when you're at the lower level and you say you have your neighbors, one of those a different group than what you're with, you do get to know them. You start to get to know them, their ways a little bit more, and it's not so much like you said. You start to get to know more. You get to know them more on a human level, other than just this, being categorized as you're this or you're that. You know what I mean? So yeah, you do get to learn things about them. That you can tell some stories. You know what I mean? Things like that. But yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. You get to learn more about the people, as a person, other than them just reading about them in the paper, or the news. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you, and the thing is, you know what? I could only imagine. I could put myself into Whitey Bulgar's shoes. 80-something years old. You're known as a rat. You're in the prison system. I'm sure you're a little scared. Someone's gonna kill you. I mean, you're pretty much, you're weak. You're harmless. I mean, what are you gonna do? 80-something years old in a wheelchair. Someone could just come right up to you, stick you,
right.
And that's it. You're done.
Right. But I think Gunslinger said that he was at I don't remember the word he used, but basically like a friendly environment, where most of the people are yeah. So you know what I mean? But yeah, you're right. 80 years old, even 70s, depending how your health is. You can even be in your 60s and be tore up like like if you're real old, where you're not able to move, your mobility, anything. You can just be smacked over the head, fall over and smack your head on the floor and be dead. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's that's what I tell people. They always say, "Oh, you so and so, he was on a level 2 yard. There's no gun towers." But yeah, that I think is more violent. I mean, it's more if something kicks off a big old riot, it's going to take longer for them to get there to de-escalate it. You know what I mean? So it's more dangerous of an environment. So anything can happen, and it can go from 0 to 10 and be ugly in a matter of seconds. You know what I mean?
Yes,
on a prison yard.
Yep.
On a prison yard. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Absolutely. I've been in riots in prison where it's 100-man riots. There's like one riot I got into there was between 12 and about maybe 16 of us, and the people we got into it with, there was about 80 of them. You know what I mean? So like I said, you like that, boom, you got 5-6 guys on each person, and you can't fight 5 or 6 guys. Best you're gonna do is to cover, make sure you can protect yourself the best you can. You know what I mean? So
but how's everything with you?
Yeah, everything's cool. I just came from got out of work. I left a little bit early. It's 12 o'clock over here. So what are you, about 3 over there? 3:10. So yeah, everything's good. Nice weather. Nice weather today. I got a few things to do. I was hoping to go check out some rims for my car, but the guy, when I hit him up, somebody was there looking at him, and he just barely messaged me back now, talking about give him a call. But now I don't feel like going. You know what I mean? It's about 20 miles north from where I'm at. Yeah, I got a few. I got a ex family member that, ex as in I got kids from his sister. He's not doing too well, and he's in the hospital, and doesn't look like he's gonna make it.
Sorry.
And he's young too. He's only like 39 or 40. You know what I mean? And I guess they're saying his liver, kidney failure. And I guess he's been diabetic, which I didn't know, and I guess he hasn't been taking care of that. So they're talking about amputating his leg, but I'm thinking, why would you amputate his leg if he's not going to make it? They're hoping that helps the situation. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not real familiar with medical everything. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'd be a doctor, but
some scary stuff.
Yeah, so it's my daughter and son's uncle, so they're taking it pretty hard. They're pretty close. You know what I mean? But other than that,
PJM Justice. I'll be right with you. Okay.
Yeah. Other than that, everything's cool. I want to maybe later tomorrow or something get with me because I want to give you a little bit more insight about what I spoke to you about, because I really think that these guys they all got good stories. They all got their personal stories, and what they've been involved with. And I think the older gentleman.
Yeah, what we're gonna do is when I get off of here, I'll give you a call. Okay.
All righty. That sounds good.
But tomorrow I'll be going live at 4 p.m. And I do want to talk to you about your two friends because I want to get them on here too.
Yeah, actually it's 3 of them. 2 of them are together on one channel, and another one is just he's a guest on their show a lot. But he's an author and a minister, and he was a member in the 70s. So he said he also has some stories of things they had to deal with the Italianos out here, mafiosi back in in the 70s. I'm not real familiar with all of the stories about that, but there was Bonanno guys out here back then, and there was a couple families in the Bay Area, not to mention LA, but the Bay Area had a couple families that were picked up in the Appalachian in 57. They were present there, those families. So yeah, but I think the stories would be entertaining, and let's try to join the 2 channels. You know what I mean? Let's cross them and pull from each other's subs and get everybody going with some more subs. You know what I mean? They're about right where you're at. Right? They're about where you're at right now. I think they got 17,000 something.
So listen,
so you got about 19.
Yeah, when I get off of here, I'll give you a call and we'll
yeah. Sounds good. Yeah, I don't want to take much more time. Let the next person get on so they can chat with old Jimmy C.
Well, listen, Lou, thanks for coming in.
Hey, real quick, I want to give a shout out to Gunsmoke, man. I watched a couple of his more of his videos today. It's fucking entertaining, man. Jimmy C versus John A. Light. I watched 7, 6, and 2 today. Man, funny, man. He got some talent, man. I've commented on this.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy, Gunsmoke.
Yeah. So I'll give Jimmy C a shout out. Also, Tom LaVecchia and Bay 8th and Fat Ball Sicilian. I enjoy watching their guys' stuff, but yeah, I'm Team Jimmy though. I'm like Gunsmoke. We're Team Jimmy.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
A liar. And some of these people. Yesterday with that video you put about Gotti, some people were saying, "Oh, well, he did his time, and he did do his time. He kept his mouth shut. Gotti is a man. He's in that life. He believed it 100%." And that just brought me when he said, John A. Light had to school Gene Gotti on Cosa Nostra. I started busting up.
You know what it is? Look, so I put down, was John Gotti a tough guy? So the thing is, right away, people get on a defense. Now, I'm going to say it again. John Gotti was a bona fide tough guy. Okay, 100%. Bona fide tough guy. I'm saying, but the history behind him, I don't know too much history behind him. I don't know how many triggers he pulled. And you don't got to be a tough guy to pull a trigger. But right away you say something, everybody wants to jump on you, But he was definitely a bona fide.
They were like, because I made a comment. I said, Jimmy did 6 years. Jimmy did 6 years, his first bid. He proved he can do time. Look, you got guys that can't even do a fucking day in jail. They're fucking ratting. You know what I mean?
But look, not only did I do 6 years, my cooperation when I cooperated and I flipped, I got 8 years for that.
Right. But I was just speaking on your first. I was speaking on your first term before you did what but the thing is,
if I would have came forward the first time I flipped, if I would have came forward the first time I did prison time, you know what? I wouldn't have did 1 day. Not 1 day I would have did, but you know what? It wasn't in me. And they just killed my friend too. I got picked up in May. They killed Paulie in July. And you know what? I didn't cooperate. But the thing is, look, after I find out all this shit, and you know what? I grow up a little. I say, you know what? This life ain't for me no more. So the people who are mad that I cooperated, look, this is for you. Okay?
Yeah.
This is my life. Look, I'm going to live my life. Okay?
Right.
You want to be out there and you want to play in the street, go ahead. Do what you got to do. Don't worry about me. Okay? I'm going to focus on me and mine. You focus on you and yours.
Right. See, they yeah, right away. It's, oh well, he did his time, Jimmy. You didn't do your time. Blah blah blah. That's not the point I was trying to make, and that wasn't the point you're making. You know, I respect what you're doing now and where you people ain't walked in your shoes. That thing with that lady getting killed, man, that you weren't on board for that. You were on board for something totally different, right? You guys are supposed to hit a house that had a lot of money in it, and unfortunately for that lady and her family, it was
and that's another thing. That's something I didn't sign up for. You know, I went to go do a safe in a house. Tommy Reynolds ends up killing a woman by accident.
Right. You didn't know that.
I didn't sign up for that. I didn't sign up for that.
Yeah, you didn't know that was going to happen. Yeah, and the thing is, it messed with you. You know, it messed with your conscience, right? You know,
100%,
so
absolutely.
People talk all this shit. Not to mention, they keep saying that you shot her. You shot her. This guy, Tommy Reynolds, ended up pulling out the gun for whatever reason and shot her. You didn't know that was going to happen because I'm pretty sure you would have stopped him.
Look, this is the thing.
You know what I mean?
You know why they say that? You know why they say I shot her? Because they're trying to get under my skin. Now, the thing is, there's 4 people at this scene. 3 of them cooperate. Chris Paciello, Mikey Amin, and me. Now, we all said the same thing.
Yeah.
Every one of us said the same thing. So people, what they want to do is they want to try to make you into a liar, okay? But you know what? That's what these people do. They're scum of the earth. You know, they're still out there doing the same old fucking thing. They never grew up, and they want to, you know, get underneath.
Not to mention, look at the source. Look at the sources coming from. Lee Cole, fucking A-Light. A-Light. Hey, I believe A-Light was out there doing things. I believe he lived a violent life. Yes. I don't believe he was a hitman for John Gotti, Jr. or Senior, at that matter.
He wasn't.
Most of those names that he brings off the rings.
Yeah, he wasn't no hitman. That's for sure.
No, but most of it. But see, they use that. Like if you see a guy sits down and talk to Vlad, oh, he was a hitman for the Bananos, hitman for the Gambinos, hitman. They roll with that because it gets people's attention. And then it gets them more.
Big Lou, look, just listen to me quick. Look, Joey Calco says he's a hitman in his book. Larry Mezza says he's a hitman. Johnny A-Light says he was a hitman. They're all fucking hitmen, and they're all fucking rats. Every fucking one of them.
Well, Mazza did stop. I don't know who was interviewing him, but Mazza did stop him and said I wasn't a hitman. And then they also called him a murderer, and he was like, "Well, I wasn't. I was killing people that were coming after me." You know what I mean? So, I mean, he's the only one I've ever heard that corrected that. Like, no, I'm not a hitman. You know what I mean? It's just false propaganda, false advertisement, and it's all for money. You know what I mean? For them, or notoriety, for them to put them on the track to make money by books or whatever.
I mean, look, just tell the truth. You know what? Look, I never personally killed somebody. I was at a couple murders. You know what? I shot a kid 3 times in the stomach. He hit me with a baseball bat. But the thing is, tell the truth. Don't make believe you're something you're not. That's what these guys do. They're all full of shit.
Right. And if you're really trying to help kids out, those type of details, you don't even got to, I mean, that's irrelevant. You know what I mean? Oh, I killed 9 people. I shot 12 people. I hit 100 with a baseball bat. That's all irrelevant, man. The story is what matters on what not to do. You know what I mean? If you're trying to keep kids from going down this track, you know, you tell them things to make them stay away from it. Because when you keep telling, Grasso, blah, 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 and he's just going on and on and on and on, it doesn't, that's not going to make the light bulb go off because he hears the last name Grasso or whatever.
Big Lou, let me give these other guys a shot.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, because I just bought lunch and I don't want to eat. I don't want to be disrespectful and eat, and that's why you see me chowing down before you put me on. Yeah. So, thanks for bringing me on. Yeah, give me a ring.
I'll see you soon.
Yep. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you. Bye-bye. PJM Justice. You there?
Yeah, I'm here, buddy, but it like froze or something. I don't know. Do I gotta hit a button?
No, I hear you. It didn't freeze.
You can see me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, all right. What's up, Jimmy? I don't see you. You're like frozen.
Am I frozen?
Yeah, you're frozen, man. I still see Big Louie there.
You see Big Louie?
Yeah, I see Big Louie. I mean, I guess I don't gotta see you. I mean, it really doesn't matter. I hear you.
Yeah, but let me fix this. Just stay there. All right. Okay. How about now?
Nah, it's frozen. Should I hit the cam button at the bottom?
Yeah, try that.
Can you still hear me?
I hear you. All right. Well, yeah,
That's weird. It's cool. I don't need to see you. I mean, I can see you in a still shot. So
yeah. But hit the cam button again. There you go. Okay, so I see you. So anyway, where you from?
from Philly, my man. Well, outside of Philly, I'm from like Chester County. I don't know if you know where that's at.
Yeah, I know where it's at.
Yeah. So I mean, it seems like all your fans are like ex-cons, right? I'm an ex-con.
Well, a lot of guys are ex-cons. You know, look, unfortunately, growing up, you get into trouble. You know, and hopefully you wake up and you fix your life. You know, not everybody does that, but some people do.
Yeah. So I mean, I did like 6 years, and I'm worked my way up through the law firm's personal injury. So that's what I do now. I squeeze insurance companies.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's kind of like PJM Justice. That's my email for like the injury stuff, and that's what I do. So it's a good you can make millions of dollars doing this. So
Nice. I tell you,
legitimately.
you're very fashionable.
Thanks, buddy. So are you, man. I
Yeah.
see I got like probably 20 of these hats. Like this one, it's probably cost me like $1.50.
One guy says in the chat he looks like David Beckham, the soccer player.
I don't know who that is, but hopefully he looks good.
He's pretty cool. He's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. Bro, I love your show, man. I just want to say while I'm on here, because I'm sure it'll be brief, man. It really like itches me the wrong way. I mean, I went and did my time. They wanted me to, my stuff's on Google. Alan Higgins, Westchester Meth Lab. That's what I went to jail for.
Thanks
But
for sharing that.
what's that?
Thanks for sharing that with us.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's unfortunate because my family has had a lot of problems with substance abuse, and I definitely feel like I contributed, to the destruction of families and shit. So, definitely nothing cool about that, man. So I regret that, but look, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. Actually, my lawyer, Michael Vanderveen, you ever heard of him? He was Trump's lawyer for the impeachment.
Okay.
Vanderveen, that's the guy. He was my lawyer for the meth lab. So he basically, I got a letter in jail from his wife, Marion, saying that, when you get out of jail, come see Mike. He just started a new firm because he was with Katz, Jameson, and Vanderveen, and the lawyer Katz was like stealing from him. He started his own firm. And I never really put it together because when he brought me on, I was his sign-up guy. So I, probably because of the fashionable thing, you got to look presentable, so he trained me to sign up his cases. And because he does criminal and personal injury. And it hit me one day like, oh, that's why he hired me, because he knew. He brought me to the DA's office one day. So in the county I was from, if you go to the one elevator, like everyone knows you're going to the DA's office. So when I realized where they were, I didn't go with my co-defendant, so I'm like, why am I in court? And they brought me to the DA's office elevator, and I'm like, oh, fuck, everybody in the holding cell now thinks I'm going to the fucking DA's office. I get up, walk through these cubicles, walk into this room like out of a movie or some shit. There's probably 20 agents. Hey, Al, you want a Coke? Like, hey, the fucking cunt, DA Michelle Fry, she was a fucking cunt, man. And she was all nice to me. And Vanderveen sitting there smiling. I'm like, this motherfucker, bro, I got a headache eating cheese sandwiches. Now I got to explain to the guys in the holding cell, like, yo, I'm not going to the DA's office. They just brought me. So, he was like, look, we can get you out on bail right now, like a normal bail hearing. you know, they want the Asian because I was doing maybe 50 pounds. So before the weed was legal, it was the beasters, the big bud beasters, and the outdoors was like in between Arizona mid grade and the real good shit that we called headies. So that shit was the headies was going back then for like 6,000 a pound, 5,000.
That was
And
insane. That's insane.
it's crazy, right? But that's people paid it, you know, back then.
Are you talking about weed?
Yeah, the weed. That was really my business for like I made it.
I remember
What's that?
I remember that 6,000 a pound back in the day.
Yeah, the bullshit. I mean, you can't, I was a weight dealer, so you couldn't really do anything with that. I had connections, but that was more for the guy selling eighths and grams and quarter pound, maybe ounces. So I had this Asian through my baby's mom. Her dad married like a Vietnamese woman, and so they had all the Vietnamese mob guys. And I'm telling you, Jimmy, these guys were fucking gangster, bro.
Yeah.
Like big time gangster. They would shoot your house up. And so that was my connect through there. We were getting the ecstasy like Sammy was doing. I was getting the ecstasy for like $2 a pill, but you got to buy like a couple thousand. $2-3 a pill. And anyway, so I'm getting the weed, the beasters, and the outdoors. That was like the little Christmas tree looking buds, if you remember them.
Yeah.
They were like in between. We would pay like $2,500 a pound and move it for like, you know, 3,000. And the guy, Sean Scalinger, he recently was big news in Philadelphia. The guy that got murdered by the kid on the bike, the black kid, and it was big news. You remember that recently?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, that was big news in Philly. Like the guy, Scalinger became a big real estate developer in Philadelphia, huge. It was called Streamline Solutions, his company. And he actually wanted me to go in with him because what he was doing, he was buying like 30, 40 pounds every 2 weeks, and he would drive it to Florida. So the shit I was giving him, I was giving it to him making like 200 a pound. So for 2,700. And then he would go down to Florida and flip it and double it, 5,400 a pound, and he'd move like 40 of them.
Wow, that's crazy.
So he's making millions of dollars on the low. And he comes to me one day like, yo, Al, I want to start this real estate business. We're going to buy up blocks of like in the hood and put brand new houses. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. Nice. Right. So I was like, what are we talking? He's like, look, just if you match me 2 million, I'm like, $2 million? He's like, yeah, 2 million, you know, you match me to 2 million. I put the 2 million. He's like, look, I got it all mapped out. He had like this book and this binder, like business plan. I'm like, bro, listen, man, the whole time this cocksucker thought that I was paying like 1,000 a pound and I'm making 1,700 a pound. So he thinks I'm making the money he's making. And I'm like, bro, look, I make 200 a pound off you. Like, honestly, I wish I don't got no $2 million, bro. But, yeah, that was the thing we were doing. That's where he got the money to start that business, that turned into a huge business. And then he got whacked by the black kid on the bike, you know, road rage. And he started fighting the kid, and the kid stabbed him to death on the bike. And,
How old was he?
how old was the kid?
Yeah, they got killed.
Oh, Sean, he was my age. We went to Great Valley High School together. He was the star quarterback for like Penn State. He was like, you know, always balling really throughout life. But he was my age. I'm 40. So he must have been 41, but the kid was young.
How old?
And yeah, the kid in self-defense, and he got off. So it was big news. Like everybody, it was like this big thing in Philly. Like Larry Krasner made a deal with him because, you know, it was self-defense. Sean had like a tough guy complex, you know, and he lost his life, man, for the temper. And then sometimes I see your temper, Jimmy. I'm like, damn, bro, I don't want to see you go out like that, man, because I got love for you like these other people, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
With the family and all these dudes calling you a rat, man. I just, you know what? Bro, I ran a criminal organization for over a decade, flawless. And there was never even a question about murdering anybody because we were getting so much money. It's like, if you burn us, then we don't deal with you. That's it. You build them up little by little. So, and plus I had this thing where I wouldn't do a deal. I wouldn't sell weed. So I would just front it, start little, work my way up. And then, so I'm not doing a deal, and I would have like a runner go pick up the money. So you could only get from me whatever it is you think you can move. You need 10 pounds, you're getting 10 pounds a week. So if you sell to 10 pounds in a day, you're not going to see another 10 pounds for another week, So you could never really set me up in a deal because they'd be like, where's the money? And then I had someone else that would collect the money, you see? And if they started talking about weed or whatever, like they would just not take the money and leave. That was the rule, So, so I ran my own shit, man. And I've always really not liked rats and shit. And I really, for me, it's like wearing the wire, set like ratting on your friend because you don't want to do the time.
Exactly.
Right? Like me and you robbed an armored car. I did some dumb shit and told my girl. And then now I'm going to rat on you to get a lower sentence. So to me, that's like a rat. Or you sell to an undercover, right?
And you cooperate.
And you get caught, and then you wear a wire on your connect or your man or whatever. So to me, that's really like what I see as a rat. And when I look at your case and you really look at it, like you said, bro, the weird shit with these weird old Italian men, that's some sucker shit, bro. And I'll say it live. Like these fucking weirdos, man. Having kids kill people and do shit for you. Like me as a grown man now, if I could not see myself having an 18-year-old, I try to tell young people like good shit, like go to school, start a business, like how the fuck you gonna have young kids do the shit they had you guys doing, bro? Like it's amazing. Like listening to your stories, and you're really probably one of the only ones that are believable, because you could tell, that you're telling the truth with your stories, and it's kind of unbelievable. And you as a kid, it's like, your brain develops like in your 20s, really. Like, so you're still a child, and the way that what these dudes did to you, bro, and your friends, like is fucking amazing, man. And so yeah, fuck them. Like when really, what's the difference, Jimmy? You whack somebody or you send them to jail for life. Like what's the difference? You're doing some grimy shit. You feel me?
Absolutely. I mean, you know what? Since you brought this all up, look, it's, you grow up and you're surrounded by these guys that you look up to, and you want to be like them, so they're influencing you. And by the time you're doing errands for them, you're hooked up, and killing somebody.
You're in too deep at that point. Now they know your family, where they're at. They know everything.
I mean, look, I look back, and if I had a son, I wouldn't want my son to be around these people, But the thing is, thank God I had the opportunity to make a decision and to save my life. And I still say the same thing. Look, I don't glorify rats. I don't like rats. I really don't. Look, my case, every case is different, but the thing is, if you're going to save your life, save your life. I mean,
yeah,
thank God I saved my life. I got 2 beautiful kids. I'm at a different place in my life. And you know what? All these people in the street who don't like the fact that I cooperated, you know what? Go on with their lives. I'm going to live my life. But you have a lot of haters out there because, you know what? I saved myself. I was surrounded by scum. My friends turned out to be scumbags. They killed my best friend while I was away.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And thank God.
And I believe that you wouldn't have, when they say you would have did it, somebody just said that. I was watching something. Who the fuck was it? Was like, you know what? Jimmy would have did it too to get made. I'm like, man, because listen, bro, why I've managed to be so successful. And I work for Rand Spear too. He's a big lawyer. I was the pre-litigation director for him, and the key is being able to read people and really understand what that person's intentions are and shit, bro. And I'm good at reading people, really good. So I know that what you're saying, bro, like you would not have killed maybe the weirdo dude. What the fuck was his name? The one that jumped over the pizza thing and
Joey Calco.
Joey Calco. That guy just looks like a retard.
Yeah, he's not too bright.
Violent retard, but he I could see you whacking him if needed be. At the that's the way I see it. But as far as Tommy and your boy, that you always remember him, the way you do. You could just tell your character, man. Like I would do business with you, and I would actually, honestly, and I'll put my stamp on this. I would do business with you now, knowing what you did. Not that I do sell drugs or anything, but if I did do any type of walking a thin line type shit, unethical things here and there, like I would do it with you because I believe in the character that, that you've got good character. And what you did in my mind was justifiable, bro. Real shit. You're gonna do life because this whack job shot the lady. Like Lou said, I'm not even gonna go back into that, but I mean, I think everybody that watches you understands that, man, that you're genuine and that you're one of in this world, Jimmy. There's no in between, bro. It's like you got good and evil. You're either good or you're not good.
And it's either you're with me or you're against me. There ain't no middle.
And that's it. Yeah, there's no like the Tom guy where he bobs in it. The dude's goofy as shit. Like you're Bob, and then you're a people pleaser. I can't stand people pleasers, bro.
Exactly. Well, you know what? You have a lot of people pleasers on YouTube. They want to please certain people, but
yeah, man. So I hope you don't take a lot of this shit to heart and get a lot of stress about it, man.
You know what? Look, it's a good conversation because everything you said was very smart. I mean, look, this YouTube, it's a double-edged sword. You come on here and people want to judge you. Right away, they want to call you a rat. They want to call you this. But meanwhile, you know what? I want to know their skeletons in their closet. That's what I want to know. I want to know what they got hidden, what they're hiding. I want to know about them.
But you know what, Jimmy? This is the thing. We don't care about them. You know what I mean? Like we like listening to your stories, man. Because
look, absolutely right. But the thing is, you know what? They're hiding something. Because nobody's perfect. See what you just said? Look, you just told the truth. You did 6 years. They took you to the DA's office. You said your name. And look, everyone has a past. It's about changing your past and creating a future. You got to create a future for yourself. If not, then you know what? Die in jail and waste your life.
Crazy. Yeah. It's just so amazing, man. Your life, man. I really hope they make the movie, bro.
Well, look, hopefully that happens. But look,
and I hope you're doing well for yourself, Jimmy.
Well, listen, you know what? I got a job. I do a little YouTube. I stay away from garbage cans. So you know what? I'm doing very well for myself. Thank God I got a beautiful woman in my life. And I made the right decision. So, I have some good company around me, good friends. But,
what's up, man? Are you still in this area, like New York, Jersey?
I'm in New York.
Yeah, so man, stay in touch, man.
Yeah.
Injured people, criminal law. That's what we do. Injured people, criminal, man. And you could definitely make some money in this realm of work too. So networking, man. I'm sure you've done crazy networking.
Send me an email, therealjimmycalandra@gmail.com.
All right, buddy. Look, I got to go get this part from my Lexus, man. Look, I appreciate being on here with you too, man.
Hey, look, thanks for the conversation, man. I really appreciate it. You seem like you're a real sincere guy and genuine. And yo, you got that fashion going on, Mickey Rourke, kid.
You said the real Jimmy Calandra?
Yes, the real Jimmy Calandra at Gmail.
All right, buddy.
All
Thanks
right?
for having me on, man.
You got it, bro. Stay safe.
All right, you too, bro.
It's a pleasure.
All right.
Bye-bye. All right, let's Richie D. Richie D, what's up?
Hey, Jimmy, what's up, pal?
How's everything?
I'm good. I'm good. How about yourself?
Good. Where you from?
Originally from Brooklyn, Bath Avenue, Bay 26th Street, but I live in Staten Island right now.
Okay. How's everything?
Everything is going good. There's a couple of things I wanted to hit on. Whitey Bulgar stuff was pretty interesting. That guy too. You seem genuine, like he definitely knew him. He definitely hung around him because you could tell that some of the stuff he was talking about, you would have to really be close to Whitey Bulgar to know some of that stuff. So that was good. And another thing, what was I gonna say? I forget about it. The Sammy the Bull thing. How do you feel about that? Like the thing that's coming out with Michael Francis. You feel it's going to be like genuine, or was it scripted?
You know what? I'm not sure. I'm saying, I guess when we see it, I'm sure you can tell. I'm sure maybe some of it was genuine. I heard that they really came in together, and when they did it, Michael Franchese and Sammy, they shook each other's hands, kissed each other hello, and it was very respectful. So, I think it's going to be good. I think it's a 3-part series. I really don't know, but everybody's waiting for that. I'm looking to see that too.
Yeah, and another thing with this John Alot character, he had me cracking up. Like the guy said before, he had to school Gene Gotti on the rules. Well, Are you fucking kidding me or what, bro?
Well, look, we know that's not true. We know that's not true. I mean, this guy Gene Gotti, he did 50 years in prison. Now he's got the old law, so on 50 you do 30. The guy did 30 years. The guy was a captain of the Gambino family. Look,
this fucking putz is gonna say he was schooling him. I mean, who the fuck would believe that?
Look, I spent time with Gene Gotti, and the Gottis have big egos. Look, I respect Gene, and nobody's perfect. And in jail, you got the 5 families in New York. Every family hates each other. They all hate each other. The Gambinos think they're better than the Genovese. The Genovese think they're better than the other family.
Right.
So you got a lot of guys.
When old beefs, old grudges.
Yeah, and plus you got old grudges too. Lucchese guys and Genovese guys are killing Gambino guys. So there's a lot of animosity, in prison when you're doing prison time. Guys think that they're bigger and better than the other guy, but
right.
It is what it is.
Right. And so what's going on with you, bro?
Nothing much. I just this guy contacted me this morning and he wanted to come on, so I figured I'd do it today. Usually I come on a Sunday, but
how'd you find out about that guy that did time with Whitey Bulgar? He just hit you up out of nowhere?
Yeah, he sent me an email.
Really?
Yeah, he sent me an email. I started talking to him, and I asked him, "You want to come on today? If you want to come on, we could do the show today." And that's what we did.
There's so many stories out there about that guy, Whitey Bulgar. Like, there's so many different versions of people's events and things that happen, and all the the movie But yeah, it was definitely interesting. Definitely.
Yeah, and all the stories on Whitey Bulgar, they're all bad stories. I mean, you never hear a good story about this guy. This guy was a bad guy.
Yeah.
You hear about him, killing a lot of people, killing his friends, putting away a lot of people. He was an undercover informant for over 30 years. Something like the guy Gregory Scarpa, the old man Scarpa. He was an informant for 30 years. Well, look, these guys back in the day, you know what? A lot of guys were dealing with FBI agents and cops and stuff like that, but it don't come out. I mean, it comes out on a few cases, but a lot of these guys were dealing with these, law enforcement people on the down low, to get themselves out of trouble. and to give them more power, you know. And a lot of it never came out, you know. Just certain cases came out where you know that they were informed.
Let me ask you a question about someone you know from back in the day, Frankie Steele.
What about him?
He supposedly he wore a wire. He ratted my friend Sal out. He just came home not too long ago, but supposedly now I don't know what the story is. Is he out like walking around, or is he like not in New York anymore? I don't know. I used to be friendly with him, Frankie Steele. We used to ride the quads together and dirt bikes and all that, you know.
I can tell you this. I can tell you that Frankie Steele is a really nice guy. You know, he's got a beautiful daughter. And
I always liked Frankie, but then when I heard what he did to Sal, he ratted them out. You know, Sal did 6 years, and so I don't know. I just wanted to hear somebody else's version of what they think about Frankie Steele now.
Well, you know, I think Frankie Steele is a nice guy. I really don't know much about his case. I really don't want to get into all that, you know. But you know, look, if the guy got 6 years, he did 6 years. You know what? 6 years ain't bad. You know, 6 years. I mean, you do your time.
It ain't good though.
No, it's not. It's not good. Well, look, it's not good when someone rats you out.
Right.
You know, I mean, and then you got to go away and do time. It's not good. But you know, look, 6 years ain't bad. It's better than doing life, right?
Right. Of course.
You know, so you do your 6 years. Hopefully, you learn from it, and you choose your friends, you know, wisely.
Yeah. Anything else you got about John A. Lawyer?
Nah, not much. I just, you know
You
what?
done with
Look,
that?
yeah, I want to stay away from the negativity, you know, and he's got his own platform, so you know he's got his own followers, and you know,
Right.
it is what it is, you know.
It's really like a My Blue Heaven down there. They all hang out together down in Florida, all the rats.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah.
When you said that one time, I was cracking up, bro.
Yeah, yeah, you got a lot of guys out there, they all hang out with each other. But look, I don't want to get into these guys, you know.
No, I know.
I had my my arguments with them. You know, that's behind me. I just want to go forward, and I want to focus on some positive stuff.
Right. So you got something going on in the movie, about your life?
No, the next thing I want to do is just hopefully I could be dropping my book in the near future. You know, that's what I'm focusing on. You know, I would like to tell my story and put it out there, and you know, we'll see what happens. You know,
what was that guy's name again? He was a pretty big actor. You said he tried getting in touch with you.
Shia LaBeouf.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I was talking to him for a little while. Then we eventually had some. We bunked heads, and you know, he went his way, and
really,
it is what it is.
Right. Right.
Well, listen, Richie D, it's nice talking to you.
You too, pal. You too.
Hey, stay safe out there.
You too.
Know, and thanks for coming in, man.
All right, bro. I'm gonna keep tuning in.
Yeah, I'll be going live tomorrow at 4 p.m.
All right, be safe, Jim.
Take care, pal.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Jimmy.
Joey Smokes.
What's up, brother?
Hey, Joey Smokes, I'm sorry you waited so long.
You know what? I had to go to the pawn. I go to the pawn shop a lot to look at tools. A lot of times too, because I used to be a carpenter and I get a little side jobs here and there. But and they always got good damn deals on these tools. You know what I mean? I got a real nice one over here, so I had to make sure I'm giving some money on it. But I'm gonna tell you, I want to apologize too first for you, brother. I didn't mean to cut you off the first time we talked, man. You know, I want to let you know that I apologize about that because I listened to it later and I didn't realize I was on I had so much passion in my heart. I wanted to tell you so many things, listen to you for so long. And I just wanted to get it out to you. You know what I mean? And I didn't mean to cut you off like that. And I listened to it later. I just want to apologize. Okay. I'm new at this YouTube. Talking like this, you know? You know what I mean? But we were talking about Michael, and I did cut you off when you were getting ready to say something about Mike, because I went out there, I told you last few weeks back, I'm in his inner circle. We get a lot of positive feedback, different things he's doing. I mean, I'm going to tell you, he talked about that Sammy thing. It's not a joke. This is something they really had to hash out a few things. Now, the thing is, you were saying something, and I cut you off at the times. I told you maybe you could reach out to him, because I know he likes to work with different people. If there's projects they're working on, he has a team, and if he can't work on it, he knows other people that can. I mean, he has a lot of contacts. It's plain and simple. That's obvious.
Well, you know what? Look, Michael is a very successful guy. He's well spoken, very educated, and look, when I first came on this YouTube, I came at a couple people. Michael would have he might have been one of them that I said some bad things about, because look, when you first come on here, you know what? You see what people are doing and you give some negativity, and that's what I did. And I learned from it. And but anything I said about Michael, look, I changed my view on Michael. Michael is actually a really good guy. And look, I look up to a guy like this. You know why? Because he made a lot of sense. And I listen to people when they say wise words. And he's a very wise person. He said, you know what? When you're killing somebody, that should be the last resort in the mafia. I mean, it's all about making money and becoming successful. And the way I grew up in my neighborhood, killing people was, something where, okay, let's kill somebody. And it was like maybe a fun thing, because those are the guys I looked up to. Look at the guys I looked up to. Tommy Karate, Georgie Conti, all these guys that were killing people. So you want to be like them, and instead of, if you were around someone really smart like Michael, he would have, made you earn money and show you a business way instead of a killing way.
Exactly. Yeah, and we went out to his pizza place, tried his pizza. I met his partner, Tony, from back in childhood. They got this recipe. Let me tell you something. He ain't lying. When he talks about his pizza, this pizza was some of the best pizza I ever had. I love pizza, okay?
I love pizza.
I love it. I make it and everything. And let me tell you, this pizza, the crust, it's light, it's thick, but it's so light and crispy that I was like, yo, I took pictures. I got really great pictures of this thing with my Canon D.
Let me ask you.
I love this pizza, man.
Let me ask you, because look, I could eat a whole pie by myself. A round pie of pizza, I could eat a whole round pie of pizza by myself.
Yeah. I can do it. Hey, I can do it. I try not to do as much. I don't want to get as much heartburn. Like we were like 20, we can down 2 of them. But nowadays you better watch it because you get them Rolex.
You're right.
No, but you know what I mean? You gotta wait what time you eat it. You know what I mean? But let me tell you, they told me he has a secret recipe with this. They went in and got this yeast that's 200 years old in Italy. You probably know what I'm talking about. It's a family in Italy. Yeah. They grow this yeast. Now they take this yeast and he learned he got a recipe he perfected to dehydrate the flour with the olive oil. Everything he puts in that flour is going to always be the same. So everyone has this crust the same, but the toppings, the way they did it, when he's saying this pizza is like no other, I'm telling you, there is no lie. If you went to a Slices, you would love that pizza. Even though you're not in New York, you can fold it and everything. You're not over, this pizza is, wow, I was amazed. The way that he thought of everything from the toppings, it was like a great marriage of flavor, of crust. And I'm going to tell you, this is why he does what he does. I mean, he is smart, man, like you just said. And I'm going to say something, like Jimmy, I've been through like different things in my life. You know what I mean? Almost died at 17. My stepfather killed himself. I had to cut him down. My mother found him. And I was only 17. I just went through almost dying. Then I came back and they still didn't know how that happened. But people on the street told me how that probably happened. Almost my whole body shut down. I was like, I got down 115 pounds. I was getting ready to go to Atlanta with my boss and everything, work in the Atlanta airport. I used to rap and do things. So I thought that was a great kickoff back in the 88, you know what I mean? So I was almost dead, 89, came back and I had friends, some of them would sit around me. I didn't even know they were there. But I took time to get back my life back. Then I ended up taking care of my godmother who had cancer, and her husband had paraplegic. But I knew him when I was 10 years old. These friends of mine, like I told you, I grew up around. I kind of stayed there at 14. I left my house a lot, so I stayed with them. Well, his mother got involved in drugs, and that's what he when I first met him, he was at his grandmother's. His mother was in prison doing things. So we and him really connected as friends, became like brothers. And when I met his mother, she was in the hustle gang. So she was around different people, like different ones in her life. Her boyfriend was Jamaican and he was in the thing. So I was around different people. But I'm going to tell you, I always had a certain way about me because at that time I was listening to Ice-T and everything. I was rapping, but I always trying to help people. So I would like talk, sometimes I would talk to her about getting out the gang. You know, I didn't want to see her in the gang. So sometimes they would call me the preacher man because they were like, Joey, go preach. I swear to God, I was the kind of guy I was. You know what I mean? Even though I was around different people, I had friends that was in gangs and this and that. I never judged anyone because I knew some of them didn't have the love at home and this and that. And even I had a lot of love at home, but I also had a broken home. I didn't know my father till later. And my grandfather, he actually started one of the first wholesale businesses in Cleveland. I didn't know him for a while. So I didn't know them. My mother there was a bad divorce, and I finally got to meet them again. I was older, but I always had like a different type of things. I was going back from different families, you know, my mother's family and this one. My mother was like a single mother for a lot of years. Funny story is, she told me once, you know, she met, what's his name? He broke the sound barrier. Chuck, what's his name? The guy who broke the sound barrier, I'll remember it another time. But she met him. She was out there. She was single mother dating. And he broke the sound barrier. She met him because he used to talk at Ford. She worked at Ford when the girlfriends went out. And I used to tell my mother, what? She said, Joey, all I wanted to tell you, she's older. She said, all I want to say is, you know, we had a nice breakfast. But that's how my mother put it. I said, Ma, you should have brought him over to the house. You know what I mean? He broke the sound out of Chuck Yeager. She met him. She, you know, said she read his book, and then she said, oh, Joey, he lied to me. He said I look like his Japanese wife. I said, Ma, he probably did have a Japanese wife. You know what I mean? But she read the book. She said, no, you know, but he said, hey, Millie, I'll come out there and I'll come out there and fly you in a jet one day, you know. So she didn't know nothing about him, but her girlfriends knew he talked at Ford. So my mother was just a single mother. I was a young kid, you know, grew up in a house that didn't have a lot of money, you know what I mean? And she struggled because she was single, but my uncles was there and everyone, they had a more, you know, we'd go back and forth sometimes, live with them. But I've seen a lot of different things in life, you know what I mean? And like I said, I was around people who sold drugs and got into that game, but I was always trying to be like the voice of reason. But then, like I said, different things happened in my life. I was taking care of her mother, and they went to federal prison. She got arrested later on. And the funny story about that was, you know, and it's something I always thought about, you know, she came to me because I used to always be, you know, I came back. Everyone knew I was trying to get back my life together, but I went through a lot of stuff. And it was a good thing that I had people in my life, you know, had good, you know, people like that, like you had in your life. But she came to me one time because she said, look, Joey, she got to get money for her lawyer. She don't trust nobody around her, not even some of her family. She didn't trust nobody. And she wanted me to help her. She said, Joey, can you help me? Just sitting there. She had houses everywhere. They called her the crack queen. She said, Joey, you sit in this house and just help me out. I need to get this money. I'll put you here, put you there. Cause I know, you don't, I didn't like it. I tell you what, if I get you this money for your lawyer and I help you out, I don't want none of the money. I don't want one dime of it because I don't believe in it. But I'm going to tell people what I want to tell. So when I'm doing helping her, I'm telling people to get off drugs. I'm selling stuff and telling people to get off it. She said, Joe, you can't be telling me to get but she knew me. So she's like, Joe, do whatever you want. I don't care. I would say that would be my chance to tell her, hey, y'all, you don't need to be doing this. But here's your thing. But I helped her, got her money, went to her lawyer and gave him the money. And I told her, now you got your money together. I don't want to, nothing to do with it. I'm going to tell you the honest truth. That's what I told her. I want to do it because I see you're wrong. I ain't judging y'all, but it's not in my heart. I felt it was, I just felt it, but I always felt like I lived with that in my heart, but I felt me not taking the money was my way of, kind of like feeling better about it myself. But later, I'm going to tell you, I was taking care of her mother because she had cancer. She came over there and she was like, Joey, can you do one? She came over and tried to have me help her again. I'm like, her mother was like, no. She's like, he's over here with me. He's give me to church tomorrow. Get on. And she was like, and she's like, and that same night that she wanted me to go to help her, and I might have because my heart's that way, they got raided. The funny thing is, when you talk about people on the wire, one time when she was having me, like, Joe, just get the door, I found a little chalkboard with a piece of chalk in it, and I have people just write down what they want on a chalkboard. And she's like, what you doing? I'm like, write it down. Because I had so many people getting on the wire taps. When they busted her, she said they raided her. She had a whole chalkboard with different colored chalks on it. She said, Joey, they took the chalkboard and put it in as criminal tools. She said, you're the one that invented that shit. I said, all I did was didn't want to have no one to hear my voice, you know what I mean? And it was funny, man, because she said, Joey, when you ride with me, rollers are just looking like, who is that dude? Because I used to have my kangaroo hat to the back. And I just kind of protect her a little bit. But at the same time, you know, that was my life. And then other people pulled me aside and said, Joe, you're going to get killed. And one time someone told me, because I was running around, they said they were trying to actually set me up, and they had a 9mm. Some dude had 9mm, was going to try to kill me. I didn't know, you know what I mean? I just had good instinct like you. Something told me don't go there. And I just went somewhere else, and I was supposed to go there. Something told me don't go there. You know what I mean? They said, Joe, you went there, they try to kill you. You know what I mean? So this is those things that happened to me in my life. There's one guy, you know, he was an enforcer, and he ended up, there was a case out here where there was a killing, 2 killings. And I knew his dad and his brother from years ago when we went to school together. I got him his first album. His dad was on crack. I remember that. It was like we were 15. I got him his first album, Run DMC. We discussed when we'd have albums, we scratch. And he's like, Joey, I'm sorry, it's embarrassing. My father's on crack. And I said, don't worry about it, bro, man. Here's a Christmas present for you. And so I gave him the album. We were listening to it. His dad's downstairs smoking crack. We leave, and you know, we became friends, man. Me and him, he became, you know, later on, he was hustling. He got jumped in Detroit, almost got paralyzed. But then his brother was an enforcer, big guy, man. They said at one time, I think they said that Gus Tamano wanted to train him. They said he was into New York. So big guy, man. He could handle himself. But this one group came from New York. They ended up doing something with, I guess they dropped some stuff in the project. Some girl picked it up. This wino who used to always get us our wine, I guess, was walking with her one day. They found out who did it, and she was just smoked it. She wasn't doing anything. They wanted to make an example out of them. So they ended up killing them, running over, smashing her, I guess, cutting off her head. He knew about it. And when he knew about it, because they wanted him to do it, he's like, I knew that lady all my life. I'm not done nothing with her. I'm not doing anything to her. But he knew who killed her, and he knew what happened. Now, what happened was, the wino, they killed him just because he's walking with her. And this was an old wino. I remember one time I picked him up, just took him at home because he was laying in the projects by the street, and he could have got killed. And I remember he used to always get us our wine. When we wanted wine at 14, we go over to Floyd the wino, and he'd get us our wine. You know what I mean? So, and the thing is, so he knew about it. So what happened was, I found out on the street. I didn't know about this till later. I found out on the street they're going to kill his dad. Someone's going to kill his dad. I said, what do you mean? His dad, Matt? What do you mean? They said, Joey, the police trying to put him up somewhere, and they're gonna whack this guy, man. I'm telling you, they're gonna go kill him. They're gonna know where he's at because he's riding around with them, trying to help. He told his son actually to go to the police. He said, go to the police, tell them your story, because you're gonna get killed or you're gonna get caught up in this shit, even though you know. So he did, and they want to kill his dad. So his dad. So when I found out a lot of this later, all I found out first, they want to kill his dad. Who gonna kill his dad? Where he at? When I found out where he was at, I rode over there one night. This is after my stepfather killed himself. My mother had left. She didn't want to stay there. I was all there, you know, by myself. And I had a house. I had extra rooms in it. So I went and found him, knocked on that door. And when they knocked, he had a knife. I said, no, it's Joey. He remembered me from when I was a kid. I said, remember Maurice's friend. Remember? Oh, yeah, Joey. I said, hey, man, come with me. Get your shit and come with me. The police put you here, but this ain't a fucking safe place. If the streets are talking, they know where you at. They ain't gonna know where you at when you're with me. So I took him over to my place. He got in. He's like, Joe, is this where you live? I never knew where you live, brother. I said, that's because I never put my shit on the street. My life and my 2 different lives, you wouldn't know where I live. I mean, live different places, but you wouldn't know this is another place I live. So I took him there. I said, you're gonna be safe here. He told me the whole story. I said, what's going on? He told me. I said, look, I remember your son, BB. So I said, let me tell you what, you stay here, and if the police need to meet you here, they can meet you here. I'm putting you in my protective custody. I said, anything you're not gonna happen to you. So he stayed there, and when the homicide detectives came over, I left. I said, no, I want to hear none of this, none of my business. And I left. And they came in, they said, they just one of the officers came in, said, I want to thank you. I said, don't worry about it. Don't say your thing, man. I don't want nothing to happen to him. So I left. He told me later what happened. He had to ride around and think. They had to catch these guys. They did finally catch them. They caught one dude, but I was that kind of person I was. If you know me, I'm there for you. His dad would tell me a lot of stories back when he started telling me stories when he was, you know, in the military. He was a sergeant. I remember he was on crack and he telling me, Joey, I wasn't always like this. And he told me about his son and everything. We sit and talk. He actually convinced one of my relatives to go into the Army. My cousin go in the Army because he was armed. So he came to visit. So one day, like I said, you know, you don't judge people no matter what. You know what I mean? You always, you know, it's easy to call someone a rat. This has got rat. You don't know the circumstance. You don't know the situation. There's all kind of different people, different backgrounds who they can say was a rat. the thing I always did, like, I didn't like when I don't like when they called you a rat. I don't like when they call Sam a rat. Reason, because this is your story of your life. When your chapter's done, that's your life. We don't know if we have another chance to live. Okay? We want to have one in heaven, but we don't know if that's I believe it's still going to be an energy life. I don't believe it's going to be a physical life. But the thing is, I'm trying to say to you is, you know, Sammy was not wearing a wire. Okay, he got caught up because someone was talking about him. And they said over all those tapes, he didn't say anything about nobody. They didn't even catch him saying nothing bad about John. And that was his life. But you get in predicament when now people are talking about you. Like, say you were talking about, I'm talking about you, you're talking about me, and I were on a tape. And they don't even, like, those days that stuff happened with me, if it was someone, I could have been through different things. But the thing is, it's different when I know someone would wear a wire. Okay, I understand someone's wearing a wire, and I don't want to judge anyone. But if you're wearing a wire and then you're setting somebody up,
That's
like
fucked up.
setting somebody up, I think it's a little different than you have to cooperate because your name got thrown in it. Like your name got thrown in some stuff, which I'm glad you was able to come to some, resolve with that, because that helped you, put it out there and you help you deal with it. Because that might have been something that had been eating your way your whole life. And you didn't have, that was not your fault, brother. It can happen to so many different people because you got someone who just, off in their own little world. You know what I mean? And your team is off in your own little world. Not everyone's on the same plane. So the thing is, with you and everyone else, it's not like people could call names at you, call names at Sam. But like I said, every story, like you said, it's everyone has their own story, And like I said, things can happen in so many different ways. Like he was put in that situation. He didn't know he was going to be put in that situation. And he was. It was something he never would have thought he'd have to cooperate with the police, deal with the police, but they had to. And they had to put his son in protective custody for a while. So you don't know what's going to happen in your life when just 1 second could change your whole life. 3 seconds could change your whole life.
Yep. And look, it's all about the decisions you make in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, you know what? 1 second can change your life. Whether for the good or for the bad. But look, I'm on here 10 minutes, 2 hours, and I'm gonna get off for now. I'm gonna come back tomorrow, 4 p.m.
Good.
It's always good seeing you, Joe.
Hey, I love you, Jimmy, man. Hey, listen, let's talk. Well, I want to help you any way I can too in the future, brother. I'll talk to Michael.
And I love you too, and thank you for the kind words, and thank you for the positive, outlook. And I can see that you're the type of guy that want to help people, and that's and I could also see you've been through some shit in your life, and that's what it's all about. It's all about falling down, getting back up, and doing the right thing, And me personally, there's a lot of people in the world that want to be remembered for the wrong thing. I want to be remembered for the right thing. I want to change my life. I want to go forward. And, unfortunately, I have a past behind me. But, that's something I got to live with. But if people want to call me a rat, call me what you like. I know what I am. I'm a man. Come at me. I'm going to come back at you. Listen, there's a lot of hate in the world. And, you got to stop. The hate's got to stop. It's got to be more positive and try to respect people.
Yeah, that's why I know that's about you. That's why I said don't entertain some of these guys. I mean, they need attention or whatever. Even this other guy, this piece of guy, wherever these guys are, don't entertain them, man. You have so much you're going for you and your family, and because you probably have a temper like I had a temper. I know that, and you got to watch it too. Because one thing, someone could, you could easily drag someone real fast. And then all of a sudden, you don't know what's happening. You could break someone's neck.
Look, like you said, it happens quick. And you could do something. And after you do, you say, what the fuck did I do?
What the fuck? For what? And what was it worth it? You have been through everything already. I told this to Mike because I gave him a book and I said, you get a crown of wisdom. What is that crown of wisdom? Once you start, your hairs get silver, gray. It's wisdom in your life. You know what I mean? Like I gave him this book about Proverbs because he's big on Proverbs. And we were talking, and I told him, so I'm going to tell you the story I told Mike, okay? If you have a second, real fast. Yeah. It's like a parable. Okay, so God called his angels together. He had a problem. He said, I don't know where to put the secret of life. So asked one angel. He said, why don't you put it in the deepest part of the earth? God thought about it and said, you know what? Oh, that's a good idea, but man's a tricky breed. He will find his way to the deepest part of the earth. Another angel came forward and said, I know where to put it. And the guy says, where should I put it? He said, why don't we put it in the deepest part of the sea? Guy thought about it. Said, it's a good idea, but man's a tricky breed. He's going to find his way down to the sea. So another guy asked another angel, where do you think we should put the City of Light? He said, I know, we'll put it on the highest pinnacle of the mountain. Guy thought about it, said, that's a good idea. But yet man's a tricky breed. He'll find his way up to the mountain. Another angel said, I got one, it's really great. Guy said, okay, what is your plan? He says, let's put it in space, amongst the stars. Guy thought about it, said, that is a really good one, but man's a tricky breed. He'll find his way up to space. So Gabriel came forward and said, Gabriel, where should I put the secret of life? Gabriel said, I know where you'll put it, where no man will ever look. He says, where is that, Gabriel? He said, inside of his heart. Now, that's where the secret life is. It's in us all, if we really want to search and find it. And I know I was telling Mike, I couldn't remember the verse. I think it was Matthew 6:1. And he knew what I was talking about, but I said, I didn't remember where it was from. But when God says, put your treasures in the heaven, where no man, no rust, no dust, no moth, no thieves can get to it. Heaven is your heart. You know, what's in that heart is heaven. And sometimes God wants to embrace that heaven. So we lose some good people sometimes. He needs close. That's what builds up heaven. All this energy, I believe, in the heart. You know what I mean? And that's what energy is. He'll take away that negative energy one day in life like that. But he'll let the positive energy flourish. Because that's what he's about, energy. And we can feel it sometimes. Like I told you about your sixth sense. The angels will watch out for you, and I believe they do. I even believe with Sammy too, because he had some crazy stuff he could have been in. But I want to say one thing too. I want to, everyone talks about the guy Sammy killed. I love to know the guy Sammy saved, because I can guarantee you that man in the sit down with his way of rationalizing his heart from his parents. There's a lot of guys that man saved, and they don't even know about it.
But you know what? Maybe that's something he should start talking about, the people he saved.
That's right. And I bet you there was. I bet there was. But anyways, I want to tell you that, man.
Well, listen, hey, thank you for those positive words, and I'm leaving off with you. So,
I love you, brother. Hey, when I'm in New York, you take me to a good spot to get some pizza.
Let me know. let me know when you come down.
I will, brother. I'll message you somewhere around here. You know what I mean? But you got to stay in contact. I guess you got to email. I'll message your email, whatever, But brother, man, I love you, man. Stay strong. I'm sending you positive vibes. You know what I mean?
Joey Smoke, thank you, man. I love you too, man. I appreciate you.
All right. God first.
I appreciate you, man. God first. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Man. Appreciate you.
I'll see you soon.
See you. Tomorrow. Tomorrow.
4 p.m.
4 p.m. All right, brother.
Stay safe, man.
You too, bro.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, guys. Well, thank you guys for coming in. We went over 100 people watching. I appreciate everyone coming in. Very kind of you. And, throughout the course of life, we live and learn. We live to see who is real in your circle and who is fake. And, people come and go, but the people who stay are the ones that you're lucky to have. So, I don't know, life is funny sometimes. Every day is a new day, a new beginning. We could change for the better. And, thanks for coming in. Thanks for showing up. I'll be live again tomorrow, 4 p.m. And it was a nice, to get together with everybody. Some people in the chat, had a lot of nice, kind words to say. I appreciate it. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully you show up. Thanks, guys. I'll see you soon. Peace. Bye.